What's going on, everybody? So I've never actually really done like a top 5 video before, so I figured what the hell, maybe I'll do one. I've been putting a lot more money into my guns lately than buying new guns, so that's kind of strange for me, but I figured, hey, you know what, I'm doing a lot of modification work, why not show off some of what I'm doing? So this video today is going to be basically top 5 upgrades to the Beretta PX4 Storm. Now, they're not going to be in any particular order, any kind of setup, anything like that. More or less, these are just some of the upgrades that I would recommend should you decide to upgrade the Beretta PX4 Storm. Now, some of these upgrades are free, some of them cost money. It's kind of just one of those, some of those upgrades to make the pistol better. Now, the PX4 Storm itself is actually already a phenomenal gun. It's stupid reliable, it's extremely durable. Ernest Langdon from Langdon Tactical did a 50,000 round test on this gun, I think it was about 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago. Basically, in 1 year, he put 50,000 rounds through it, and he broke only one part, which was the locking block. So the fact that the gun stood up to that is pretty impressive, and it's a testament to the design. He had very few malfunctions, and some of the ones that he did have, he openly admitted that he was the one that caused them, so that's pretty impressive. Anywho, let's get into it. So, working as a new member coordinator and as a club level teacher for new shooters, a lot of people are constantly asking me, like, what's the best upgrade for my gun? Like, you get a lot of guys who'll ask, should I change my sights? Or, a lot of the Glock guys especially, should I stipple the grip? Should I buy that 3.5 pound ghost connector? What do you think? And the answer is oddly simple. A lot of experienced shooters already know this, but a lot of new guys don't. And that's ammo. Now, this isn't part of the top 5. This is the fact that if you buy a gun, the best upgrade you can put into it is trigger time. The more you shoot it, the better you're going to be with it. You take a seasoned shooter with a normal factory gun versus a shooter who put $1,000 in upgrades into their gun but only shoots it once in a blue moon. Who do you think's going to win? So, ammo is always the best upgrade. Now, let's say you bought a gun, you put $1,000 worth of ammo through it, but now you think, okay, now there's some things I don't like. There's some things I want to change. So let's get into that. So basically what I'm going over is top 5 upgrades that I think are best for the PX4 Storm. So number one, if you're only going to do one upgrade, I would say one of the best upgrades to do is the G-Series conversion. So the nice thing with this upgrade is it's free. It doesn't cost you any money to do this upgrade. Basically, all you would do is you disassemble the slide, take the safety mechanism out. You're gonna punch out a little, it's like a ball bearing, and it turns the gun into a decock only. There's not a single part that you actually have to buy. Unlike the original Beretta 92s or the 92FS, that gun you actually have to buy, or at least here in Canada, it's almost a $100 kit to convert the gun so it's a decock only. This one is you punch a ball bearing out and boom, you're good to go. So it's free. The only thing it costs you is time. It's a highly recommended upgrade. Now, for those of you who don't know what a G-Series conversion is, basically there's two main types of the Beretta pistols. There's the Type F and the Type G. The Type F is a safety decocker. So basically, when I turn the safety on, it decocks the gun and it stays safe. So the trigger mechanism is now disabled. If the G-Series, basically, as you can see what this one just did, it returns it back to fire automatically. So all it does is when I turn it on, it decocks the pistol and goes back into the fire position. So it's already ready to go. Great upgrade, and it's completely free. Upgrade number 2. Number 2, in my opinion, one thing that I like to do with all my pistols is change the sights. Now, factory sights, there's nothing wrong with them. They work just fine. The biggest thing with upgrading sights is the times are kind of changing. The 3-dot style is pretty well dead. What I've done to this one is I actually had a friend of mine's a gunsmith, and he had one of those paint kits. So basically what he did for me was he blacked out the rear sight and brightened up the front, adding it's like a like a luminescence paint kind of thing. Very, very high visibility. Personally, I actually really like the PX4 sights. I think the sights are just fine. They work really well for me. But you will see a lot of people that will do like a fiber optic front, blacked out rear, night sights. Sights are always a great option. They can go anywhere from $80 to $200 depending on the setup kind of thing. So sky's the limit for sights. Good upgrade though. I would definitely recommend it. Upgrade number 3, the low profile controls. So the low profile controls, this one's a little more controversial just because a lot of people don't actually use them. But the reason I like the low profile controls is the older style controls on the PX4, which I just so happen to have right here, are these guys here. They're very, very protruding and they're very sharp. So if I hold them side by side, see the difference? These guys here, now they're great because you can grab a hold of them really easy. You can use them really easy. The biggest problem with them is they're sharp. Like, and I mean, like, it doesn't look like it, but that edge there, you know, you could cut paper on that. It's so sharp. So when you get cases where you have people that are overhand, you know, slingshotting the gun kind of, or the slide, you'll go overhand. And the amount of times I've actually legitimately cut my finger doing that. I've had to train myself to cock the gun from the front just because of how sharp those controls are. These guys here, the low profile ones, you know, you can overhand it and slingshot it like you could any other, you know, like Glock, SIG, Smith & Wesson. It's definitely a great upgrade. Now, this package, at least the one that I got, it comes with the 2 low-profile wings for the safety and a low-profile slide stop. I wouldn't personally recommend the low-profile slide stop for everybody. I put it on primarily because it comes in the kit, and why not? But the other thing, too, is the older style one that's a lot bigger. I had a habit of riding that slide stop, so it'd get to the point where the gun wouldn't lock open on an empty mag, and I would think that the gun malfunctioned. But the truth is, it's user error. So I like that upgrade personally. It's a good little setup. Working our way down. So upgrade number 4. Now upgrade number 4 is probably one of the primary upgrades you see is the grip. So as we can see, the front and rear texturing, it's very aggressive. It's really good. I really like this texturing. The problem is the sides, so basically where the palm swell is, like when I go to grip that gun, the entire palm of my hand is touching just bare, smooth plastic. It's not very good. So you'll see a lot of people, they'll stipple, so you take like a soldering gun or something like that, and you just dot. Do that about 30,000 times, and you've got a nice, like, aggressive, stippled grip. Or something like a wraparound grip, like the sandpaper style or like the rubber textured. You'll see a lot of people do that. That's definitely a very sought-after upgrade, not only on the PX4 Storm, but on Glocks, the SIG 320s, the Smith & Wesson M&Ps. It's a very sought-after upgrade. So a grip upgrade is definitely a big deal. Or not a big deal, sorry, but a big choice. Me personally, though, the reason I haven't upgraded this grip is because I haven't really felt a need to. Generally, I prefer a really aggressive grip. I've always been like that, but for whatever reason on this gun, I like the factory grip. I've never felt a need to change it. It's even when I've been shooting in, you know, extremely hot days to the point where like I'm soaked all the way through. I've never had an issue of the gun slipping out of my hands, so I couldn't tell you why that is, but that's just my opinion. That being said, popular upgrade. Now, number 5. So number 5, this one, again, a little more controversial, but the mag release. So this one here is the large mag release. Now, the factory PX4 Storm is a great gun. Like, it'll work just fine, it'll run just fine, but one of the gripes I've always had about it is the mag release. The factory mag release on it is a medium, but it's extremely small, and I think I have it in this little baggie here. Yeah, it's right there. So that's the factory mag release. So the only thing your thumb is pushing on is this little, is just the textured part. That's the only thing your thumb touches. Whereas on the new one, you can see how much bigger and more protruding it is versus the old style. I've been running this gun for almost 7 years. It's got about just shy of 12,000 rounds through it. And I've always hated the mag release. Like, right since the day I bought the gun, I hated the mag release. Had I known this was out there, I would have bought this years ago. Years and years and years ago. For 30 bucks, probably one of the best upgrades you could do to the gun. At least in my opinion. Great little setup. Overall, I mean, the PX4 Storm, like I said, is a phenomenal gun. Like, there's really no reason to change anything on it unless you absolutely have to. The gun's going to run just fine. I've only broken one part on this thing inside of almost 12,000 rounds, and that was the slide stop spring. So I broke the... Oh, I don't know if I broke it or I don't know how it broke, but basically what was happening to me was the gun was locking open kind of randomly. I was like, why is it doing that? And I took the gun apart for a detailed cleaning, and the spring that basically holds that down was snapped in half. So just something you should know about. Figured I'd mention it. Now, if we get into a bonus, so there's a bonus upgrade here. This is one that I'll never really recommend. I'll never like recommend, hey, you need to get this upgrade. One is because it's extremely expensive, and two, from the factory, the gun's pretty good, or at least the setup it comes with. And that is, so we'll call it bonus upgrade, the trigger, or the trigger mechanism. So this one here is the Beretta PX4 Storm competition trigger group. So this is Beretta's trigger group. Langdon Tactical, I believe they call it a trigger job in a bag. Very similar style to this, except it's got Langdon's touch to it. I have fired a Storm that had the Langdon trigger job to it, and man, guys, it was good. Like, expensive, but it was nice. This one here is the Beretta version of it. So this is their competition trigger group. Overall, I like it. All the, like, as you can see, all the controls are all chrome plated. They're high durability, corrosion resistance. Just as a point of reference, this is what the old trigger group looks like. And the nice thing is it's drop-in. It comes fully assembled. You punch out two pins, and boom, you've dropped in the new trigger group. So that's pretty cool how to do that. The gripe I have is the price. I mean, that's an expensive upgrade, and realistically, this is not. I would never put this on a top 5. In a top 5, like, what to do kind of thing. It's not that worth the money compared to how decent the factory trigger is. Now, I'm going to reassemble it here, and I'm just going to show you guys. So, the competition trigger group, unlike the Langdon group, it doesn't affect the double action pull. The double action pull on this gun still idles right at about 9 pounds. It's a duty trigger. I mean, full disclosure, it's a duty trigger. Where this trigger job shines is the single action. So the single action goes from, at least on mine, from about 6 pounds down to about 3. So it's a very light, crisp, quite a bit of take up. But the actual single action break is excellent. It's like you can really run this run this gun fast in its single action mode. I've shot 2 IPSC competitions now with this gun. As you see it configured, I didn't come last, so that was pretty. That was pretty. No, I came. I think out of 50 shooters, I came 11th in the first one, and out of 75 shooters, I came 7th. So not anything to write home about, but I was pretty happy with it. Anywho, so yeah, that's like my, I guess you could say, top 5 upgrades for the Beretta PX4 Storm. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I went a little overboard on the upgrades? Do you think there was something else I should have done? What have you done to yours? Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see y'all next time.